Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. New as in the gospel, abroad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the spirit. This is the spirit, man, because this real ID shit is popping back up, which they were supposed to have this. I'm trying to think, man. I remember back in 2017, they was making mention of this whole ordeal, or I may be thinking of something else. But with the real ID, I know it have like the star on like the driver's license because they updated everything. But they've been trying to get this whole push for this real ID shit up and running for the last 8 years, even before that, because it come in lieu with the time of the 9/11 attacks that they wanted to enhance security because of the threat on, the war on terror and all that other folly that they've conjured up. But anyway, it says here, this is from DHS.gov. It says countdown to real ID enforcement. Okay, so everybody's going to be required to have this in order to enter a government facility or board an airplane. And see, this is a gradual step towards the mass implementation of the MOTB, because like the apostles always say, they're going to implement these things in stages. Okay, and when you implement things in stages, you can inconvenience the people, because before it gets to a full-fledged microchip, you're going to have some type of security provisions in order to work your job. Okay, whether it be getting into the office or driving a vehicle, they're going to put things in effect to inconvenience you before they come out with the whole micro C hit, because gradualism is how they get you. Okay, when you gradually do something, and you can kind of move outside of the parameters of people's reasoning, so people won't really pay attention to it, because each step that they take, a small inconvenience is not much of as a big inconvenience, if it makes any sense. Like prime example, right? If I'm gradually moving the furniture set, I have to gradually move it, because if I go ahead and push it, I could knock something over. So I gradually move it, so therefore I can get it to this perceived destination. And all this new technological and all this, technocracy, this industrial revolution, all this shit is just another push for the MOTB. All right, so it says 138 days, 8 hours, 6 days, and 52 seconds. All right, and this is when it's going to be due or implemented, May 7th, 2025, which is around the Elite's High Holy Day. I believe the May Day or something runs from like May 1st to May 5th. But there's no coincidence that they're getting ready to up the security parameters on this place because of all these particular threats and all this shit that they perceive. And then you got the chariots that's literally appearing and shooting down drones. Okay, one Jake that was part of the United States military, he came out with a video I just watched, and he basically stated that all the drones that you're seeing are being deployed, but they are being shot down by what he considered aliens, which you can call them aliens. You know why? Because alien just means foreigner. Okay, it don't mean you look like Martian to Marvin or E.T. or some Independence Day type creature. No, this is the aliens are the angels, and it ain't some green big head bug out men, man, as Esau will want you to think. All right. So anyway, it says on May 7th, 2025, U.S. travelers must be real ID compliant to board domestic flights, and domestic means locally. Okay, like from a flight from here to Chicago, that's a domestic flight. It says and access certain federal facilities. All right, and then they give you a state by state basis to let you know what's happening in these states. All right, let me see here. It says you do not need real ID if you have a valid U.S. passport or passport card, or you do not use airplanes as a mode of domestic transportation. You are not visiting military bases, or you do not visit secure facilities. It says you need real ID if you do not have a valid U.S. passport card, and you use airplanes as a mode of domestic transportation. You visit military bases, secure facilities here. All right. See here, it says step 1, if your driver's license or ID is expiring soon, visit a Secretary of State driver's service facility and take a photo of any required exams, receive a temporary secure paper driver's license, blase, blase, and after the review and verification, a document have been conducted, your new permanent standard driver's license will be mailed to you within 15 business days. And I remember even the ones we have now have this like sticker on it. Well, I guess this is like an updated one. And then they give you the whole application processes and all this other madness, right? That's for the state of Illinois. Now, let's do this. Look for the state of Missouri. Okay, well, each state is a little different. But nonetheless, this is another step towards the forced implementation of the mark of the beast because, like I said, it's all about control, and the elites deal with something they call gradualism. All right? So it says here, the Real ID Act of 2005, it says it's an act of Congress that established requirements that driver's license and identification cards issued by U.S. states and territories must satisfy to be accepted for accessing federal government facilities, nuclear power plants, and or boarding airline flights in the United States. It says the requirement include verification on the personal information presented when applying for the identification document, security features on a document, and electronic sharing of databases between states. It reads the act also made various modifications to U.S. immigration laws regarding asylum, border security, deportation, and specific work visas. Okay. Long title, an act to establish the rapidly implemented regulations for state driver's license. As if what we have right now is not a fucking enough, man. It's bad enough that we have to get these driver's license, which all this shit is really unconstitutional. Okay, the whole fact of driving a vehicle, driving motor vehicles, all that shit, identification, you don't need no goddamn identification, man. All right, in the scriptures, we were identified by our father, by the lineage of what tribes and what households we come from. All right, you have some type of thing that can trace you back to your people, but we wasn't walking around with no fucking driver's license and when we was in the ancient world, man. And that's how this devil wants you to do. He wants ultimate control. You know, same thing with this RFID chip. It's basically a walking, talking social security card, man, with everything about you on this platform. But yet you got a social security number. But yet, oh, well, that may not be you. How the fuck is it not me? I got all the credentialing I need. You know, same thing like when you what was that happened? I remember when I was like if you call the IRS, right? Now you could give them your identification, but if you don't have a particular document to verify who you are, and I went through this shit before. They was like, well, you don't have the verification. I'm like, what the fuck you mean? I have my state ID or driver's license. I have my social security card. This is my tax ID number. What more do you need? You know, but we still can't verify as you. Here go my picture. This is my name, right? Oh, just confusion and madness for nothing. This is why the scriptures call this place the land of confusion, man. Okay, bitterness. Like when Jeremiah goes into that Hebrew word, marathium. Okay, it means bitter. Okay, because everything in this place is a fucking hassle. Everything from getting the driver's license to the DMV to, you know, whatever you need. It's always a hassle, man. Okay, they give you the runaround. Let's just say if you need a work permit or you need to get some type of permit or some type of clearance to do a job, they give you the fucking runaround, man. And then you don't have the necessary paperwork. You got to come back the next day and you got to wait 5-6 hours just to get a piece of fucking paper. You know, so they whole work around that was like, okay, well, take the RFID chip. Okay, but when they implement that shit, they're going to still get people to run around, man. All right, but brothers, this thing is coming and it's coming quick. It says here, document security standards to prevent terrorists from abusing the asylum laws. Nobody, man, Esau, man, of the United States to unify terrorism related grounds for inadmissibility and removal and to ensure expeditious construction of the San Diego border fence. All right. Yep. Proposed delayed to May 5th, 2027. So they've been trying to do this. It says enacted to the response of the September 11 attacks. The provisions regarding identification documents were originally intended to take effect in 2008, but enforcement was repeatedly delayed due to widespread opposition by refusal by many state governments to implement them. Why? Because they're not constitutional. Okay, Okay, you do not need a fucking real ID to determine if you're a fucking terrorist or not. I mean, goddamn. But it's all about control. And it says, eventually states began to comply in 2012 because a lot of times these states, they'll take the federal funding from them because the states are actually funded. Of course, they say by the taxpayers and all that other shit, by the toll roads, but really the federal government funds them as well. But it says, an enforcement began in 2014 for certain federal facilities, but after numerous extensions by 2020, all states were certified as compliant, and by 2024, all territories were certified. But as in 2024, the implementation's final and most significant phase regarding identification documents accepted for boarding flights was scheduled for May 7, 2025, with the proposed delay of enforcement of May 2027. But I believe that I believe the chip is going to supersede all this. And we don't need to get into all this because, I mean, this is just how they amended it. And because I remember going back, it says December 17, 2018, Congress amended the Real ID Act to remove an outdated reference to the trust territory of the Pacific Islands. And I remember around that time, they was talking about implementation of this as well. All right. Yep. January 2028. Yep. I remember back in 2017, we was going out of town. And by 2018, they was talking about we had to have that shit. So anyway, let's get a couple of precepts here. It wasn't going to be a long lesson, but regardless, we living in them times. So this is the book of Proverbs 19, and I'm gonna start at verses. Shit, I lost my place. Yep, 21. It says, there are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord shall stand, because the counsel of the Lord is to destroy Babylon the Great and deliver his elect. Also to push the MOTB, because at the end of the day, like the apostles always say, this is the Most High's chip. Okay, this is going to seal the left hand, and this is going to weed out the ones that's not of the elect, man. Okay, because if people was bent out of shape by this, like when people was bent out of shape, when they had to take the hokey pokey 2 years ago, you had people that literally took a self-sabotaging such and such in order to keep their little wicked little jobs, man. And then what happened? It wasn't required anymore. Now people are walking around with pestilence in them, man. All right, because they didn't have faith in the Lord and they didn't hold out. And it's going to be the same thing with this MOTB. Things are going to get so dire and so bad to the point chaos is going to break out, and then that's going to be the savior. Okay, that ultimate idol, that chip. Okay, which a lot of you Israelite groups do not push, man. For whatever reason, you don't like pushing the mark of the beast, because deep down inside you took a contract where you are in tandem with this world, man. Okay, you took the bag from Eve. Revelation 13 and verses. Let's start at verses 15. And it says, he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and that as many as will not worship the image of the beast shall be killed. Right. And this is all going into the image. All right. The image is not Cesare. It's not Caesar. Okay. But the image is everything that this society consists of, man. Okay. Of the false theologies, the technocracy, the people, the mindset, the rulership. It all plays an image within this beast system, man. The laws, the penal codes. All right. And ultimately, the ultimate image of the beast will be the micro C hip. Because if you take the C hip, you've opted into all those things I just mentioned. And he calls it both all, small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hands or in their foreheads. Right. And this is going to be the implementation of the chip. So the whole Real ID thing is just conditioning people in order to get them prepped for taking the MOTB. And the reason it says that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark of the name, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, which all that consists of the mark. Because if you got the mark, then by default, you're going to opt into the name of the beast and you will have the number of his name, because that all consists in a chip. So you had Jake that tried to get stupid. I ain't going to receive the mark, but what about the beast and the number of his name? It's all in one, man. But here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, For it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 score and 6. Okay, which in Christian movies, they say that's the Antichrist, 666. All right. Fret not, workers of iniquity. Fret not. Psalms 37. And 1, it says, fret not thyself because evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity. Verse 7, rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Right. You got to wait, Jake. Be patient. Fret not thyself because of him who prospered in his way, because of the men who bringeth wicked devices to pass. All right. And who's that? Esau, Edom. All right. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Just an update on the Real ID. So like they mentioned, by 2025, another proposal maintained by the deadline in 2025. But the Spirit, I was on my way home from work and a bus rolled past me and it said the Real ID coming May 25. May 7, 2025, man. All right. So, hey, with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Lord's will you will edify. Until the next